What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Madden 25 Next Gen video on my PS4. Please do me a favor, take a second, hit the like button for me, subscribe to my channel if you aren't already. Criticism in the comments section, as always, go over to Twitter. Shutdown Safety is my username. If you like the way I break down simulation football, do a lot of that with NFL Game Rewind, you'll probably enjoy that as well. Two important links in the description. Number one is going to be my October 16th Madden preview trailer, where I talk about what I felt player sense would bring to this game, and the last video is going to be my video on Living Worlds. Something I don't do often is stack videos back to back from the same game, but in this instance I feel that it's very important to do so, because I want you to see a full image of how I view this game. And I think it's really important to reiterate, next gen console here. You know, it was important to me personally that EA and Madden evolve this game, breathe fresh air into the franchise, revive it if you will, and give us a fun, unique, new experience and take on football. And to me, it just doesn't seem to happen when you look at the whole picture, considering we just went through a Living Worlds issue. Now we're going to go through player sense. I'm going to play this for you at speed and show you all the little microcosmic flaws this play has, but when you look at them in the whole total picture, it really damages the gameplay. So we've got a rather large touchdown to Coby Fleener here, and I want to show you all the defensive issues. And to me, if you go back and listen to that first video, my excitement with player sense was really rooted in the fact that we were going to have the ability to have players not be individuals on the field, but work as a cohesive unit, understand each other in relation to the ball, to other players, and to work as a team. And to me, I don't see that happening here. I still see a lot of individual interactions. First thing we're going to look at is Taylor. I think it's important we notice this is a defensive lineman here, runs a stunt, never touches an offensive player until the end of the play. What I really don't like is the fact is he has an opportunity here to leap at this pass, and I understand he might not hit it, but he doesn't even look at the ball as it goes across, and like I said, he's not touched by an offensive lineman until the ball is actually caught by the receiver. Now when we go over here, we take a look at this linebacker, how he's going to play Coby Fleener. I think it's important to understand a lot of times when I'm looking at gameplay in this video game, you have defensive players that have a propensity to not play the receiver. It doesn't really matter who or where the receiver is. He's just going to react to the ball, and Robertson does that in this example. Kind of cuts underneath. It's close to being a deflection. I'm trying to lead the pass as hard as I can, but the pass leading is hit or miss, figuratively, in this game. Now, to me, the other problem we have here is this defensive back. And let's just talk about football fundamentals here. He's got Levon Brazil on the inside. If we know player sense and we know that players are reacting and understanding what's going on in the field, then he sees in front of him this linebacker going for a pass deflection. Now, if I'm a defensive player, I need to be in a good position to stop this play as it goes upfield. The yards have already been lost. The pass and reception have already really been made, assuming this pass is going to be caught. So why would you cut underneath the receiver up to the inside? Because now you've put yourself in a position where the receiver can box you out upfield. And that's exactly what happens, which is good from the offensive perspective in terms of understanding, I'm going to block this player, but it's bad from the defensive perspective because in real life you would never cut underneath a wide receiver when you're trying to move upfield. Now, the interesting thing here, I also want to point out, is with player sense, we were told offensive players would be able to point out key defensive personnel to block, and Fleener does that here. But also, we don't have a situation where after the player's pointed out, Rodgers actually blocks him. You can see there as the point happens, he actually continues with his body and trajectory now to run downfield. There's no reason for that. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, why did you just miss what occurred? Well, because I want to actually focus on it more than anything else. Because to me, this is something that I really thought would be non-existent on a next-gen console when we talk about processing power, computing power, speed of the processor, where it can make these interactions so much more seamless and so much more lifelike. And yet we're going to have a situation here where players run into the same exact animation. You can see 24-37, they sync up right about here, and then now they're running the exact same way, the exact same movements, until they literally are going to run into each other. But I just want to back up so you can see they are following each other's path perfectly. Now I want to take a moment here and just think about this again from a football perspective. If we've got a cornerback and a safety, and one of them is going to pursue upfield, and the other one is making the determination to pursue downfield toward the receiver, wouldn't you feel like they should be able to understand The one on the outside needs to stay to the outside. The one on the inside needs to stay to the inside. And shouldn't they also realize their perspective to each other on the field has them side by side? In fact, the complete opposite happens. They run into each other trying to cross, then they bump into each other again. And all this does is basically stop them in the field long enough so that my tight end, who should be able, even though Colby Fleener is fairly fast, should be able to get tackled in the open field by defensive backs, can score a touchdown. It doesn't remove them completely from the play, but when we look at what Aubrey here is able to do, look at how close he comes to completing this tackle. And granted, I respect the fact that he grabs my foot. You can see Fleener's arm going back to push him off as if there is some form of player sense here. But you can see it changes my stride enough. What would happen if he had gotten those 6 or 7 lost steps back if they didn't run into each other? And then, of course, as you know, Fleener runs in basically uncontested the rest of the way for the touchdown. So, again, when you look at this as a whole, when you see all these little mistakes, and then you realize, brand new console, legacy of the game, dependent on this foundation going forward, how do you feel about that in relation to what you thought you were going to get and what you did get? Appreciate you guys hanging through another long video. You know I'll be back in the week with more content.